It's the Immaculate Podcast.
You are now listening to the Immaculate One.
The Immaculate Podcast.
You are now tuned into the Immaculate One.
It's the Immaculate Podcast.
You are now listening to the Immaculate One.
It's the Immaculate Podcast.
You are now tuned into the Immaculate One.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back for another episode of the Immaculate Podcast. I am your host. I go by the Immaculate One, the one and only Mike. No, I'm just playing, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. I need this though for sure.
Stop it. Get some help.
See, guys, I'm working on it. I'm taking medication. It hadn't kicked in yet, but when it does, I will calm down. So I know what you guys are wondering. Who's this guy? To my right, your left. I want him to introduce himself. And he goes by.
Yeah, I'm Robert Kruse. I am a conservative political activist here in Southern Indiana. I am with Young America's Foundation as a chapter chairman at Ivy Tech Community College, and I'm also a member of Turning Point USA and Young Republicans in Indiana. And I really just like to study policy and have conversations at the campus to try and change people's minds.
Hey, Don DeMarco, bro. I know you're kind of new to the platform, man, and I always stress to people, my chair is always open. I had talked to you, you were like, hey man, you gotta bring me on the pod. I always try to keep this chair open for anybody. I know, like, I got people with different political beliefs. I grew up in a Democratic household, so there's going to be some views that maybe some things that you might say that even I may not necessarily agree with. But there also is going to be things that I agree with that you agree with. But I think it's really cool that I can have this platform to be able to just have an open discussion. And, I always tell people at home, you guys always watch our content, and I'm very grateful for that. But don't ever be afraid to jump in the comment section. If there's something that you like, you dislike, things you want to rebuttal about, I'm going to have it all here, guys. Like I said, we do relationships, we do politics, we do sports, we talk about trending topics. We're going to be talking about fitness, we talk about wrestling. We do it all here at the Immaculate Podcast, man. We want to make sure that all audience is addressed. Today is politics. So, I don't know if you noticed, man, 24 hours ago, there was a huge debate. It was just about different beliefs. I'll say it with that. There's a bunch of opinions. I hate that it became a race bait thing, because that's definitely that definitely wasn't the idea behind it. You were obviously at the event. You obviously helped us out with the event, which we are very grateful for. And, a lot of people felt the need that they had wanted to express their opinion, which, hey, I am grateful for everybody's opinion. It didn't matter if we went back and forth. It didn't even matter if you agreed with me or even you felt the need to speak up, because I had a lot of people DM me separately that was like, hey man, I just want to let you know I'm proud of you and all this stuff. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. But I also appreciate the people that were in the comment section that push back, because interaction to me is all I ask for. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to pretend like I got all the answers. At the end of the day, it's all about an opinion. But enough about me.
But that's an important point. And the fact of the matter is, dialogue's never been more important, because we do have people who don't necessarily have an interest in having dialogue, And the fact of the matter was, the other night, it wasn't inherently political at all,
Right.
We were just trying to be there and unified,
right.
Basically. We were trying to bring people around something that we can, I thought we could all get behind,
yeah.
At least,
Yeah, for sure.
It's the most horrific political assassination since Bobby Kennedy, probably.
Yeah.
Back when he was running for the nomination.
Yep.
And so, I thought that would be really easy to get behind, but unfortunately, we have to let everything polarize us right now.
Sure.
And it's just really ridiculous.
It's fine. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
it happens. It's fine. Again, freedom of speech.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Right.
that's what he got assassinated for. But
Yeah.
freedom of speech. You know, I love everybody equally. It doesn't matter what people say or how they feel. Just because I may talk about a particular person or say that this particular person is a polarizing figure or whatever it is. You know, people were trying to say like, oh man, you're trying to say he's God and all this. Like,
Dude,
I never said any of that. Like, I never said any of that. But predominantly it was all about freedom of speech, love one another. It was all about unity.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And somehow they got taken out of context, which is fun. And I told them, like, hey, when we talk politics, please jump in the comments. So, guys, here's your chance. You want to talk politics? This is someone.
I am your guy.
This is someone you can debate with about politics, guys. I gain nothing on my platform talking about politics, but I tell you what, if someone wants to come on my platform and talk politics, I'm all about it. And clearly they're passionate about it. And anytime someone's passionate about a particular message, I'm going to do everything I can to help push the narrative. So I'm very grateful that you did stop by and take the time because I know you got a very busy schedule.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
But I am curious, what brings you in today?
Yeah, so right now we're really trying to bolster our political activism. Not even just political activism, but just activism in spirit of the First Amendment right now, because I think it's very clearly under attack. You know, we've seen.
Oh wait, sorry to mean to cut you off.
No, all good.
I do got two guys in the comment section. I always make sure I get my people in there. Shout out to you, Nathan. Shout out to you, Charles. I gotta give y'all Don DeMarco real quick. Nathan says two good dudes right there, and shout out again to Charles. He says the greatest of all time, Micus Harris. Listen, brother, I appreciate you. I almost forgot one thing, man. I gotta give a shout out to my sponsors. I almost forgot. Shame on me, and I deserve this right here.
Stop it. Get some help.
I apologize, but I gotta give a shout out to my sponsors at a ShamFit Studio. ShamFit Studios is in downtown Evansville. If you guys go in and use the promo code The Immaculate Podcast, you guys will get a free week gym membership at the gym. You got the state of the art facility. You guys will be able to use the Sweated Out classes, which is upstairs, which literally has over $100,000 worth of equipment, anything from boxing, anything from the top quality treadmills. It has a heart rate monitor tracking device on the screen. It has circular stations. In my opinion, it's 10 times that better than Orange Theory. No knock to Orange Theory, but guess what? Sweated Out classes is built different. And also what you'll get with that platform, by using the Immaculate Podcast promo code, you will also get a free week, like I said, with that as well. Charles is also working on a gym, powerlifting gym downstairs in the basement. So you guys will literally get all three of those by just simply dropping the Immaculate Podcast as a promo code. And also our other sponsors, Protein House in Newburgh. You guys go over there. You want to eat healthy. You guys want to change your diet. You guys want to drink some good protein shakes. You guys want to change your overall healthy diet. Go over there, drop the Immaculate Podcast yet again to get yourself a discount because the food is fire. Don DeMarco for the sponsors. And last but not least, gotta give a Don DeMarco for the man upstairs, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I apologize to cut you off, sir.
No, you're all good. You're all
get
good.
that out there.
Where was I?
So you were talking about what brought you in today.
Oh yeah. So look, I mean, we're really just trying to really bring this excitement right now, and we're trying to take this momentum that we're seeing in the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and really translate it to something on campus. You know, Charlie started a bit of a movement. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
He had millions of young Americans following him, and you know, it's impossible for anybody to fill his shoes. But right now, it's imperative that we don't quit.
Sure.
You know, he started a movement, and it's our job to keep that movement alive. Right? He set us up in really a way that nobody else has ever done before. You know, he was probably the single most influential figure amongst the youth in America, possibly in history.
I'll give you that because it seems like politically wise, it seems like a lot of people were more worried about focused on the older generation when it came to voting and things. That's what even gravitated me towards him personally. Now, do I agree with everything Charlie says? No, but I'll never do that. You know, there's a lot of things that people don't agree with me on.
Yeah, they say the only politician you agree with is you, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That's the age-old saying in politics, and you know, that's important because, you know, like I listened to Charlie from the time I was in 7th grade.
Right.
I didn't agree with Charlie on everything. You know,
Sure.
I agreed with him on nearly everything.
Sure.
But and Charlie was really important in shaping my worldview. You know,
Right.
he was wise beyond his years. He was only 31 when he passed.
Right.
But it seemed like it was a 40, 50-year-old, you
Yeah.
know, long-time philosopher that you were talking to
Right.
when you'd see these debates on college campuses. And I had just gotten my tickets to go see him at IU Bloomington.
Yeah.
I was going to have the opportunity to meet him in December at America Fest out in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm still going to both of those events, but
Nice.
unfortunately Charlie won't be at either.
Yeah. Well, he'll still be there. He'll just be there within spirit.
Right, in spirit.
You know, for
You
sure.
know, I'm not going to get to meet him. I'm not going to get to debate him like I wanted to.
Yeah.
But you know, like I was saying, it's imperative that we keep that movement alive.
Sure.
You know, and there's nobody that's going to be able to fill his shoes. I mean, that guy really did the job of 5 to 6 people.
Yeah.
You know, inside the movement, and it's important that somebody carry the torch. And right now, I just want to do the most that I possibly can to be the one that picks that torch up and
Right.
tries and carry it.
For sure. No, I totally agree with you. I love the organization that him and Candace Owens had put together.
Turning Point USA.
No, well, not only that, it was that Black Leaders of America?
Oh yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I had just recently, probably like maybe just a few months ago, had came across that, and I was like, what? Like, hold on, like, let me take a little bit more interest in this. And
Yep.
you know, Turning Point USA, I knew about that
Dude,
for a
yeah,
while,
that's amazing.
which is amazing. But I thought it was really cool that he did that because, you know, some of the rebuttals that people were like, you know, what has he ever done for the black people? And I'm not getting into that topic, but, you know, first thing that came to mind was Black Leaders of America. And I'm like, you know, this is something, in my opinion, that's at least more than what your left or right wings are doing for the black community. Is it necessarily something that they're specifically looking for? Depends on where you're searching. You know, if you're one of those, you know, African Americans that is trying to come up in the world and want to be held accountable and, you know, get the most out of life, I feel like that's what the program was specifically for.
Yep.
But if you're someone that, you know, lives in the system, that, you know, you're content with life and you're not trying to climb up, and, you know, it is what it is, that's probably not going to be something that really piques your interest. So I always thought that was really cool that he not only took interest in that. Like I said, I would always get pushback of people saying, well, he said this and he said that. And I'm like, listen, that's cool. I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I am saying is, please don't send me a clip. Send me the actual full 2, 3 hour, 4 hour video, and then let's have that same conversation. Because you can take something out of my podcast and chop it up, put a 10-second clip on it, and then it makes me sound completely different. And
I find it rich whenever they're calling him racist, but when he's literally sitting next to people like the Officer Tatum, Dr. Ben Carson, you know,
right.
Chandler Crump actually put out one of the most liked and most viewed tributes to him on Twitter. I believe it's amassed over 600,000 likes and tens of millions of views at this point. And Chandler was a kid who blew up on Jubilee on YouTube a few years back, just really bashing how Democrats have really, in his view, not done anything for the black community. And Chandler was obviously, I think, pretty close with Charlie.
Yep.
And, you know, I really find it rich when they say that he was exclusionary in any way when he very obviously wasn't.
Yeah.
So.
No, totally agree with that. Yo, Wes, I see you in the comment section, man. Don DeMarco for you, bro. Wes is a childhood friend of mine. I see you in there, brother. Long time no see. You're absolutely right, man. I hope everything is going okay for you and your family, man. Tell everybody I said hello. Again, I really appreciate everybody tuning in to the Immaculate podcast. Like I said, I don't care if you're here for 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 2 hours. It's always greatly appreciated. I mean, just for you clicking on the level of curiosity is it means a lot to me. It really does. So I can't thank you guys enough. Like I said, guys, I will be having the Immaculate podcast t-shirts coming very soon. When those come in, I will be doing giveaways during my live podcast episodes just to show appreciation to you guys. Obviously, I'll have the merch for sale and everything as well. And if that really goes where I think it can, I will do more between designs and all that good stuff. So, guys, we're going to keep giving you guys the stuff that you guys are craving. Like I said, if it's a topic that you want me to talk about, drop it in the comment section. And if it is something that you don't like that myself speaks of, or, you know, if you say something that they don't like, you know, I want them to drop in the comment section. Please let me know. Or even if you guys have a suggestion of someone that you guys want to see on the podcast platform, please drop in the comment section. Please shoot me a DM. My chair literally is open to anybody. Brad, I see you in there too, bro. I got to give you a Don DeMarco for Brad. I see you in the comment section, bro. Brad is always in the comment section. He is always showing love, brother. I appreciate you. But back to you, man. So, you have any events coming up? Like, what's new? What's got you going on? What's got you going at 100 miles an hour right now?
100. That's generous. I'm generally going 1,000. You know.
Hell yeah.
Slow down.
Hell yeah.
No, so I am trying to put together some events right now. One particular event that I want to draw attention to is I'm trying to host an open mic debate up at Vincennes University.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Unfortunately, we're not getting cooperation from the university thus far, but hopefully continued student pressure will get them to play ball with us.
Sure.
And, try and bring them out and allow us to host a dialogue on next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you know, you do have to. That's one of the difficult things about trying to get with these universities is a lot of times they don't want to get right back with you, so
right.
They want to take their sweet time getting back with you, so that can be difficult. But you know, other things that we're trying to do, actually tomorrow we've got a big meeting, young Republicans here in Southern Indiana, and I'm really looking forward to seeing hopefully hundreds of young Republicans come out and
nice
support. So
yeah, heck yeah. Dude, Brad just said in the comments, he said Robert's brother Grant works for him. Says he's a great kid. Yo, now is your brother older or younger?
My brother, I've got 3 younger brothers.
Okay.
So yeah, Grant's are just younger than me.
Man, Grant, I'm praying for you, man. If you work for Brad, brother. I used to work with Brad, man. That dude and I never got anything done. No. No, shout out to Robert's brother, Grant, man. Shout out to all the brothers, man. I don't know if you guys are in there chiming in. And if not, still shout out to you. Again, I see people just sitting here watching. Again, I want to give you guys a shout out as well. Again, if you guys have any questions, please drop up in here. Let us know what's on your thoughts. I don't care if it's a political question, if it's a question for me personally, if it's a question for him. I know you were talking about that event coming up. Tell me some of the things about it. Like, so for somebody who is maybe a Democrat, or maybe someone who is maybe a liberal, or someone who doesn't even necessarily have a political view but maybe is curious, why would someone want to come to an event like that?
Yeah, so especially if you're a liberal, I would encourage you to come out, because that's what we saw people doing with Charlie, right? So Charlie would have 2,000 to 3,000 people per event, and they would come and debate him, right? And it's all about that open dialogue, and I think it's never been more important to have that dialogue, because we literally saw the other day, there was a study that came out through FIRE. It's a study organization,
right?
That said 21% of Democrats unfortunately think it's okay to commit an act of political violence to stop a speaker that they don't like from coming to their campus, or you know, hold
on. You gotta do me one favor real quick, just in case someone missed that.
Yeah,
I need you to repeat that for me.
That is 21% of Democrats think it's okay to commit an act of political violence against someone they disagree with on the college campus. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Are you serious?
Yes, this is recorded by FIRE. Yes, in a study. Also,
Never knew that.
3% of Republicans think that it's okay too, which is like. 3 is less than 21.
I guess less than 21, but it's
too many.
But it's still 3%. That's
too many.
Yeah, that's way too many.
Like I said, it's never been more important or more imperative for us to get together and actually have the conversation than it is right now. And we just saw somebody just over a week ago get shot and killed over his beliefs.
Yep.
You know, and that's why it's so important.
All right, I gotta ask this uncomfortable question. I might not be uncomfortable for you, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Was it a hired hit? Do you think Charlie Kirk was a hired hit?
Okay, I do not. Here's why. First of all, for me to, before I ever make any accusations like that, I got to see a lot of evidence.
Sure.
Right? And I don't think we've got that evidence. You know, right now what we've got are the texts between the
With no time
the
stamps?
shooter. I'm not gonna say the shooter's names.
Sure.
The shooter's name. I don't say the shooter's name.
Sure.
Because we don't draw attention to shooters.
Well, not only that.
because that's what they want.
Yeah, for sure.
But the shooter, that
Sure.
got arrested. We've seen the text messages between the shooter and the roommate, and like you said, no timestamps. But that's not really what bothers me. I think what bothers me is the actual content of the text. So those texts, some people are saying they're fabricated, but I don't think it's actually that. What I think is they were premeditated.
Sure.
So what I think is that the shooter and the roommate, this is my theory, and this is just a theory, but the shooter and the roommate actually planned it out to where it cleared the roommate's name. So I think
Sure.
the roommate knew.
I did notice that.
Yeah, I think the roommate knew, but they were trying to clear the roommate's name.
Right.
Because really, we're explaining that we decided to come shoot Charlie Kirk. Then we're deciding what kind of gun we use.
Right.
And so it's just really suspicious in the way it was all laid out, and we're explaining why we're still at the scene of the crime.
Sure.
So I thought that was really suspicious. I don't think it was a hired hit, but I think people knew.
You don't think the accuracy of that shot was a hired hit? You think that guy truly did it?
Yeah, I do. I do think he
You
did.
do?
Yeah. I mean, the guy was experienced with guns. He grew up in a family in Utah. They'd grown up around firearms, and it was his grandpa's.
Yeah, his
favorite
grandpa's
rifle.
gun.
So,
$2,000 scope.
Yeah,
apparently.
bolt action rifle.
Yeah.
It's a doable shot. It was only 200 yards out.
Right.
I can make that shot.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it was a hired hit.
Okay.
But there are still open questions, specifically about the Discord chat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really interested in. But it doesn't matter as much to me about whether it was a hired hit
Sure.
as it does the motive.
Sure.
The motive was just, it's disgusting. A man got killed in cold blood
Yep.
for going out there and speaking mainstream conservative political viewpoints.
Right.
I know hundreds of Republicans that are more radical than
I
Charlie Kirk.
know.
If they can kill,
There's one running office right now.
if they can kill Charlie Kirk,
Yeah.
who's off limits?
Yep.
Who's off limits?
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw. It didn't matter about a left or right. I just said at this point, and there's nobody off.
Yeah.
Nobody's
if they can kill
untouchable.
Charlie Kirk, who's, by the way, got 24/7 security at his
Yep.
house. Who can they not?
Yep.
So
Ben Shapiro, all these guys,
yeah. Ben Shapiro has had 24/7 security
Yep.
for over 10 years. He says just because of this.
Yep.
And he said he always thought it was overkill.
Yep.
And they always had him wear a bulletproof vest when he went on college campuses. And he always thought it was overkill.
Yep.
Until last Wednesday.
Yep. I personally do think it was a hit, man. Not gonna lie. I think there is a bigger agenda here. I think that somebody, whomever that is, I call them shadow people. Again, we're going down a dark rabbit hole here, but I think there was of some sort of importance of a very untouchable person that said, I do not like the agenda that he's pushing. Because I think he was almost fair toward the middle than any other politician. And that's just me personally. I felt like with certain things that they were pushing, because if you notice, talking about Israel, he wanted Israel to win. He's like, I'm a Christian. I'm fully supporting Israel. But we can't brush over the fact that they're committing genocide, that they're doing these particular things. We have to bring attention to this. And and I know, we had talked about YouTube silencing people.
Yep.
Currently, right now, if you are speaking any type of thing about Israel in a negative way, you get canceled. That is currently happening as we speak. So, I personally think there was something that may have been said that I think could have potentially led up to the idea of him. And I'm not saying...
Yeah, this is actually something that I was hoping that we would address tonight. So, because I am far more pro-Israel than most young Americans are these days. Actually, a lot of the studies are saying we are the most anti-Israel generation in a long ever.
Sure.
But I am pretty pro-Israel, but I did want to talk about this because, and of course, my opinion could always change as more evidence comes out.
Yeah.
But right now, first of all, I see zero evidence of that being the case. It's obviously a theory, like, because Charlie was speaking out against Israel on his podcast toward the end, but my thing is, like, I don't understand why the Israeli government would have Charlie Kirk killed off when he really was a strong defender
For
of
sure.
Israel.
No, he definitely was.
And Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, actually came out and paid tribute to Charlie Kirk twice in the days following his death. So, I really struggle with people pointing fingers at Israel with a lack of evidence. Obviously, if evidence came out and fingers were pointing at Israel, I would gladly point my finger in that direction.
Sure.
As well.
I just find it very weird that 2 days before he was taken out, he was having a discussion on his platform about Israel.
Yep.
And then the fact that Candace Owens was talking about how he was invited to come to Israel to quote unquote have a talk. And,
yes.
I mean, we both know that was going to be more of a, hey, we don't want you pushing this type of thing. Whomever was going to have the conversation, I'm not saying Israel was necessarily even in charge of that.
Right.
But I felt like that was going to be more of a teaching lesson, like, hey, you need to tone it down. That's what makes me cause the pause and say, I want to look more into this because I don't think it's just as clear cut.
And I'm absolutely fine with people looking into it and presenting the evidence.
Sure.
But here's my other thing. Motive does not equal intent.
Right,
so, they might have had a motive to have Charlie Kirk killed, but motive does not equal intent. So
right.
Just because there might have been a motive or a connection there does not mean that they actually intended on having Charlie. Mind you, one of the most ardent supporters of Israel on the American right taken out. I just don't really think it makes much sense. But I have definitely seen those theories on
Yeah. Oh, I've seen theories about JFK and Israel as well.
Yep.
And it's kind of weird that, they're involved in that too. And, they spy on a lot of our information. And, there's just a lot.
There are a lot of connections.
There's a lot of head scratching.
I think it's foolish to deny that there are connections like that there. And I think that the people that do deny that are misguided. But
sure.
I also just I need to see evidence stating or like proving that Israel is in there,
Sure. But with them being such a massive ally, do you think that information will ever come out? I don't. I think if it ever came out, just saying, do I really think Israel did it? No. But I'm just saying I find it weird that he had that discussion about it 2 days prior to. So it makes me wonder what led up to it. But I just feel like we are so pro-Israel as a country because no matter what they do, we're always going to back them up. We're supposed to back up the Jews. That's to the average eye that doesn't really understand, that's their thought. So with that being said, and I saw someone was talking about modern Israel is not Israel. We are instructed to protect Jews, are in control of this country and its leaders. I totally agree with that too, Josh. I just want to let you know that.
I don't think that modern Israel is the Israel of the Bible. And
right.
I'm not making that claim at all.
Yeah. Right. No, so I totally agree with that. But it's just
I also think that we have a strategic interest in Israel, and this is an important point that does get downplayed a lot. Mossad is a fantastic intelligence agency.
Sure.
I don't know if you've noticed, because a lot of people, even the people that hate Israel and hate Mossad, say that it's a fantastic intelligence agency because oftentimes they think that Mossad's spying on us.
Yeah.
But Mossad, like, we give them on average $3 billion a year in aid, right? But in return, they give us intelligence in return. also, Israel is the only stable democratic country in the Middle East.
Right.
So, to disconnect us from Israel, I think, would be foolish.
Sure. I agree with
Yes,
you. I
think
definitely
they-
agree with you.
And I do think that they are a great ally.
And
in the
we
United States.
benefit a lot by having them for sure. I noticed though within the last 2 years they've worked really hard trying to be the main superpower, especially with nuclear wise. They're trying to be the only nuclear superpower in the Middle East.
Yeah, but again, my question is like, why do we want any more nuclear superpowers in the Middle East? Like I've seen people saying they hope Iran gets a nuclear weapon. If there's one government on earth that I don't want touching
Right.
a nuclear weapon, it's the Ayatollahs.
Right, yeah.
I don't want Iran
Absolutely.
touching a nuclear weapon. So, yes, yeah, it's strange. It's not strange to me that they don't want anybody else to touch a nuclear weapon, because I don't want anybody else to touch a nuclear weapon.
Right.
In fact, if I could snap my fingers and make all nuclear weapons go away, I'd
Sure.
absolutely do it.
Absolutely.
So, them setting up the attack that we led, Operation Midnight Hammer, where we took out Natanz, Esfahan, and Fordo, the 3 nuclear facilities earlier this summer. That to me is in the United States' interest, and that just helps me with even more say why Israel is such a great ally.
Right. Yeah, their intelligence definitely helped us out.
Yes.
It helped us execute that perfectly at that too.
In their military.
Yeah,
The
for
IDF
sure.
did.
For sure. I won't go too far. I won't bore the people with that. I just want to ask you so
for
much
sure.
about your thoughts, and if you, and by the way, you guys, if you guys think that the whole Charlie hit was actually a hired hit, or if you think it was just the shooter by himself, or any propaganda in general, please drop in the comment section, because I'm curious what you guys think. We all have our own opinions about it. I'm like him. I just need to see more evidence, but it does make me scratch my head a lot. So that's just how I feel. Yo, Travis, I see you in the comment section. Travis is always in his comment section all the time, bro. Don DeMarco, man. Hey, Travis, I always appreciate the support every time that you come in here. You, Charles, Brad, I mean, literally, you guys always are in the comment section, and I'm always grateful for it. So I always want to be able to show you guys love. Anytime someone new drops in the comment section too, I appreciate it. Like I said, guys, I want this to be something that if you guys have questions about, please drop in there and ask away. Ask myself, ask this man. He is extremely educated when it comes to politics, which I have to ask you another question.
For sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best direction of our country. What do you think? Do you think it's going great? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's okay? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. The direction currently of our country right now. And everything as a whole, that means economy, that means what we're doing in the world right now, just everything as a whole, as a country. How do you think our country's doing right now?
I'll give it a 7. Here's why. So I think that right now the Trump administration is doing it's doing a lot of things I like, and then it's doing some things that I don't like. So first of all, we're gonna start with the things that I don't like, because the list is a whole lot shorter. Things that I don't like: the flip-flopping on economic policy. In some ways, the Trump administration is doing things that I do like as a small government conservative, but then they're doing one thing that I don't particularly like with the tariffs as a small government conservative. I don't think that the president really has the unilateral power to impose tariffs on the country. So
Right.
I do have some struggles with the tariffs. Also, another thing that I don't really like is the division that I'm seeing in our country. We really need to unify in a way that we haven't seen since 9/12 of 01.
Jeez.
Yes!
Keep preaching, man.
Yeah,
Keep preaching.
We need unity, and we need it bad.
We need it horribly bad.
Yes, and then something else that that I'm struggling to see vision on is the Russia-Ukraine war. A lot of times I really like the policy, Yeah, but sometimes the policy seems to flip flop a bit. So
A lot.
yeah, so those are the really my three main struggles right now with where the country's at. Now we get to go to what I'm optimistic about. What I'm optimistic about is I see a generation of young people who is more involved religiously and politically than ever before.
True.
What I'm seeing is I see America projecting power on the world stage in a way that hasn't been seen since the days of Ronald Reagan back in the 80s.
Okay.
I see really quality foreign policy when it comes to boxing in China, who is, by the way, our number one geopolitical adversary.
Right.
The Russia-Ukraine war, for all the flip-flopping that I think is being done, I do think that we're getting closer to an off-ramp. Marco Rubio's been a fantastic Secretary of State, and he's really been brokering.
Yeah, I think he's been working his ass off.
Yeah, he's been really close to brokering the end of that war, and that was the one conflict that I wasn't sure that Donald Trump was going to be able to end as easily as he thought he was, but they're definitely getting closer.
Yeah, I know some people probably in the comment section when they're thinking of Trump and in the Ukraine war, they're probably like,
Shut up, bitch!
they probably feel some type of way about that because they're like, man, this thing's never end. It's never going to end. Listen, though, man.
To be fair, he did say he was going to end it on day one.
He did definitely say that.
Yeah.
Listen, when he said that, and then after like a few months, people were over here thinking like,
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
and the whole time when he said he was going to be able to end it that quick, and I'm over here shaking my head like,
Damn!
I can't believe he said that. There ain't no way he just said that. But if there's anybody that can do it, it's going to be him.
Yeah, dude, he brokers peace unlike any president that we've seen.
Yeah.
For 40 years.
How much of a boss move that was whenever they met in Alaska?
And he flew the B-2
Oh
over.
my God. Yo, Don DeMarco for being a boss real quick, dude. If that was the biggest, this is how big my nuts are moment.
Dude, truly, how many people are standing next to probably the second or third most powerful man in the world,
Right.
and say, you know what would be funny? If I flew a B-2 sortie bomber right over his head right now, literally to where his hair shakes because of how close
it was.
So, dude, President Trump, you can't say that he doesn't, that he's not out there.
Yeah.
He's got some crazy ideas.
For sure.
And he really loves America.
For sure.
And that's what I really love about him.
I do too.
He's such a patriotic president.
Say what you want about him. You can't say that he doesn't. I feel like he's not so much a politician. He runs our country like a business. And we've always wanted that because that benefits us more. I know a lot of these tariffs and things that we're all struggling with and we're paying more and things, but I think that's what's benefiting us in the future.
But you can counter the tariffs with actual good economic policy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like what came out of the One Big Beautiful Bill. We reinstated the Trump tax cuts from 2017.
Right.
Even cutting them even further in some places, like no tax on tips, no tax on social security.
I think it's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, and then he even extended the no tax on tips to streamers. So helping you out.
Hey, Don DeMarco for helping your boy out. Hey, whenever he was talking about that and I saw the part of the streamers, I was over here like,
You what?
oh my God, wait, replay that. I'm like, say that again. I want to make sure I heard you correctly, but no, seriously.
He's great, and he's just really carrying on the tradition of the Republicans being the party of economic freedom, just like we have been for the last 150 years.
Not to mention, I feel like we definitely took a step in the right direction once he took office again, because we were a laughing stock for a little bit. I don't care what side of the party you feel or you are. There's no way you could have told me when Biden was in office that our country was still looked at as the powerhouse that we are.
From January 2017 to January 2021, we had world peace.
Yep.
Donald Trump was the most peaceful president of my lifetime, which that's a low bar.
Sure.
It includes George W. Bush, Barack Hussein Obama, and Joseph Robinette Biden. Like that's pretty low competition.
Sure. Sure.
But look, I mean, Donald Trump really he gets it. The Abraham Accords brought Arab nations in the Middle East into the economic fold disincentivizing them from engaging terrorist
Yep.
organizations and incentivizing them to engaging with the United States. And,
Right.
You know, that's something that's the out of the box thinking that we've not seen
Sure,
really
sure.
ever before.
Yep. There ain't nobody
And-
before him that was doing that.
You know what wouldn't have happened under Donald Trump? October 7th. You know what also wouldn't have happened under Donald Trump? Russia invading Ukraine. You know,
I agree. I totally agree.
there.
Everybody played nice.
Yeah.
Whatever. Back in his first campaign, everybody was walking on eggshells.
Yeah, exactly. And look,
Putin even said it.
there's a conservative political commentator that tells this story all the time, but I'm going to steal it right now. It's Ben Shapiro. So he tells the story when he met Trump down in Palm Beach for a fundraising event, and Trump, you know, he says, Ben, you know why Russia didn't invade Ukraine when I was president? He said, I told Vladimir, I was like, Vlad, you know what you're going to do if you invade Ukraine? I'm going to bomb the shit out of it. And he says, Vladimir Putin said, no, you're not, Mr. President. And he said, well, I might. And it's that unpredictable nature of Donald Trump that makes him such a powerhouse
Yeah, right.
in his foreign policy. And we're actually seeing a coherent foreign policy like we saw at the end of his first term, you know, with Mike Pompeo. We're seeing Marco Rubio carry on many of those principles. And it really looks a lot like Henry Kissinger
It really
back in
does.
the 70s when
Yep.
he was under Richard Nixon.
Yep, I agree. Yo, JB, I see you in the comment section. Papa Henderson's in the comment, man. I got to give you a Don DeMarco, man. Papa Henderson has literally been a family relative of mine ever since I was a little spit little fire. Spend the night at his house all the time, man. I appreciate you taking the time to jump in here. I appreciate you on the tip the cap. Dude, we do it all here, man. I was talking to your son yesterday. He was going to drop by and jump on the microphone. We were all going back and forth, and we had that little debate back and forth with a few people, which, again, I am very grateful for anybody that wants to have a conversation, because I don't care if it's good publicity or bad publicity. It's great for television.
Yeah, and hey, we like I was saying earlier, we need to have the conversation right now more than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really imperative that we talk it out, you know,
Right.
because our country's in trouble if we
Yeah,
don't.
we definitely are. United we stand,
Yeah.
divided we
But
fall.
I'll tell you what, Micus, you know, it's a dark day in our country right now, but I really am optimistic about our future.
For
You
sure.
know, this is a rough chapter, but
Yeah.
there's another one.
Oh,
you
for
know?
sure.
And it's so important that we continue to try and come together. But just like J.D. Vance was saying the other day when he was filling in for Charlie Kirk on the Charlie Kirk show,
Right.
you know, he said we can't unite with people who want to kill us.
Yeah.
You know, and we can't ignore the fact that there are a lot of people that would literally go throw blows over political beliefs right
Right.
now, and it's got to stop.
Yep.
You know, we really need to get past the nonsense of, you know, not talking to people over politics. We
Right.
need to have the conversation. We need to have the practical conversations where we really discuss the nuances of policy, because I really think that you see at the end of the day, everybody has good motives.
That's it.
You know,
Literally.
yeah, everybody has good motives. We have different ways of getting to the things that we want to get done, but everybody pretty much has good intentions, and I think that needs to really be remembered.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of Dunn, we got Corey Dunn in the comment section. Don DeMarco. Corey said, 2 of my favorite people. Would y'all look at that?
We love Corey.
Yeah, we definitely
great
love
guy.
Corey, man. Corey, you're amazing. Corey was trying to do a call-in yesterday when I was doing my live feed, and I'm like, Corey, no, man, I ain't got enough time. Like, I was only going to do, like, maybe a 20, 30-minute video, and it ended up being almost an hour.
Yeah, you went on for a while.
Dude, and then Corey was like, let me jump in. And I'm like, no, bro, because if I do that, I'm going to be here for like another 30, 45 more minutes, dude. And I had buddies that were blowing me up that were like, yo, man, where you at? I thought you said your podcast was last. I'm like, listen, dude, I'm trying to get up off of here, man, but the shit's fire, and I can't fucking stop. You know, and the whole time, like, I know Corey in certain points, in certain comments, Corey was over here like, you know, like he was chiming in, dude. He was, I mean, there was times where Corey was over here like,
What was that?
I mean, literally,
What the fuck was that?
And then there was other times when he'd chime in and they would go back and forth, and then there's other times when Corey was like,
Shut up, bitch!
I mean, like, literally, he was going in, but there was not one time that he ever wavered away from faith.
Yeah, and that's, dude, Corey's man of faith. You can't deny that.
Yep.
Let's get
Yeah,
Charles's question.
Charles, she said, I have a Charlie Kirk question. Okay, shoot, what do you got, man? What kind of Charlie Kirk question do you have? Why he's going to send that, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
J.D. Vance, future president?
I think JD's got a shot.
I think he's got a great shot.
He's got a shot. He's one of my favorite Republicans on the bench. I've been following JD for a really long time. He wrote his book Hillbilly Elegy. It came out, and it was really the explainer of why Trump won back in 2016. That was what got him all the TV hits, and that's what made him famous was his book Hillbilly Elegy. And I remember reading it. I would have been in like 6th grade, and just like this guy's got potential.
Yeah.
And he ran for Senate, and I really even started to underestimate him. He barely won his race in Ohio, which is a red state.
Right.
And so I was just but he did great on the campaign, and now he's doing fantastic.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Vice president, and I really like him.
Yo, man, I got to go back to the comments section real quick. There's a couple people that chimed in while we was doing that. Shout out to you, Ronald Hill. Guys, if you end up needing to buy a house, you need to hit my boy Ronald Hill up. He is by far one of the top tier best real estate not only salespeople, just generally a good person to buy a house from that generally is a family person. He has a very beautiful family. He is absolutely amazing. I mean, listen, I would tell you 10 times over I would buy every house from Ronald if I could. So shout out to you, Ronald. Shout out to you, Jordan, as well. Jordan, I see in the comment section, he said, looking immaculate. Young YMM turning in, driving down 41. You gotta tell these people, Jordan, what YMM means. I know what it means, but I think it's always fun when you say it, man. Shout out to you though, man. Also, shout out to Aaron. Aaron, I see you in the comments section. Ooh, we gotta disagree. I disagree on good intentions. Some of our greatest intuitions of high learning have been. Actually, you know what? Instead of me going through these comments, I'm gonna do something a little different, man. Aaron, I feel like this is going to be more of a question for him. Do you feel like that's more of a question for you?
I can answer that.
Go for it. Go for it.
All right, so Aaron says that he disagrees on the good intentions because some of our greatest institutions for higher learning have been deliberately infested with Marxist ideology to silence and help overthrow the country. And
great question, by the way.
Yeah. I guess what I would say is on the actual substance of the question, I agree. But what I would disagree on is that they don't have good intentions. I think these people really do think that Marxism is a good ideology, and I think we have to disprove that every step of the way. So you really have to explain to these people, what does economic freedom mean? Why is it important that we have economic freedom? What does good foreign policy look like? Why is it important that we hold the family unit together? Why is it important that we keep God in our life? And so I think that these people really do think that what they're doing is good, and that's why I think it's important to go out and have these conversations.
I love it. Don DeMarco, man. Again, if you guys have questions, please drop them in here. I really appreciate Aaron taking the time to do that. And, I mean, you guys kind of agree, which, sometimes that happens. I like how you not only agreed, though, but you kind of threw it your own twist in there. Aaron, I really do hope that answers the question. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that's a question that I personally cannot give you the most accurate answer on. But I know that he would not only do that, but he would be able to add to your question as well. So, like I said, I hope that really answers your question. This is Charles's question too for you there.
See, so what the most famous question that Charlie Kirk asked, I think is what you're asking here. What is a woman? And my answer would be the exact same as Charlie's. So you're not going to get anything crazy out of me. I'm not going to sit here and tiptoe around that one.
Charles, man, you over here trying to start shit, man. Charles, you ain't slick, bro. You're not slick. First of all, when I read that, I was over here like,
Fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
I can't believe we live in a society where we have to ask that question. I mean, that's the truth. It's sad, but unfortunately, this is the uncomfortable reality that we have to deal with. we have to ask these kind of stupid questions. To Charles, to answer that, I would answer it the exact same way that I know he would, in the same way that Charlie would as well.
Yeah.
I think, Charles, you know the answer to that. I feel like you're out here low-key kind of trolling, bro. You over here baiting, dog. Yeah, we ain't going for it, man. We ain't going for it. Corey says, I love you guys. God bless you both. We need to get lunch together or dinner really soon. Sign me up, Corey.
Love you, Corey.
Sign me up. You
Doing
just
well.
you tell me when, we'll make it happen, man. Seriously, you let me know when. Like I said, guys, if you guys have any more questions, please. You guys got more time. I figure we can at least give you guys an hour. I mean, we're almost there. You guys got like a little over 10 minutes to do that. So please drop in there. Ask anything you want. Like I said, I'm sure there's people that are watching right now that are going to be seeing views differently politically wise. So, like, I don't want them to feel like, well, I can't say anything because this is a conservative topic. Like, no.
Actually invite it.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the one thing about me. I don't shy away from the conversation.
Right, yeah. We want that healthy, conversation. Like you said, we need to have more dialogue, not only to better understand each other, to be able to just find that niche where we both can agree and find better ways to improve, like, the situation. So, all right, dude. What you got, man? You say you got a wrestling question. Go ahead, Charles. Which I knew you knew what a female was. I knew you was trolling, man. You was trolling, dude. Go ahead. Instead of asking me the question, brother, just ask it, and then we'll fire it right there. But whatever wrestling question you got, man, we can do that too. Even though we ain't talking about wrestling, brother, we will answer anything that anybody wants to put in the comments section. Why he's putting that in there? I was just asking you about the JD Vance situation. And I also agree with you on that. I do think he's got a very good shot. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. I will tell you this: he does a damn better job than Kamala Harris.
That's right. And here's the thing about the Republicans: we got a deep bench. I mean, our bench is amazing.
Right.
You got guys on the bench like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for.
Dude, I was sad that he dropped out, but at the same time, I understood.
I'm a big believer in Vivek. He really understands.
I was a big fan of him.
Libertarian economics, which I'm basically a libertarian when it comes to economics, so I really agree with Vivek there. I think JD Vance's wing of the party. You see a guy like Josh Hawley from Missouri. He's got a lot of potential. He used to be considered one of the rising stars in the Republican Party. Some other people that you really need to watch out for, like Brian Kemp. I've
watched a couple of his speeches.
He's well spoken.
Yeah, very.
He's very well liked in Georgia, which is a swing state.
Yep.
He's really really solid. I've always been a Ron DeSantis guy.
Yep.
He's been fantastic.
You hear a lot of buzz about him.
Yeah. One guy that I was always really high on, who wasn't so well spoken, but he was very smart and wise, was Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson. I've actually had the fantastic opportunity of hearing him speak in person.
Nice.
And he was always just, I loved him. He wrote one of the best books of all time, Gifted Hands. It's a fantastic memoir. It really details his life, and he's a really wise man, and you gotta love Ben Carson.
Sure.
Yep.
Charles says, what's your most memorable moment of CCW wrestling? Charles, my most memorable moment was probably... Actually, I'm going to give you two. The first one was working the Legend show for the Coliseum. I was the only guy on the show that did not have a big name. I was still an up-and-comer. I would say I was the least established person there, but the way everybody treated me, you would have thought I was a big name, and it had nothing to do with feeling entitled. It was about being around a bunch of people that had paved the way for wrestling as a whole, that opened doors for guys like me to be able to potentially get a job, which I eventually did. I got so much information from so many years of experience amongst the locker room. So it was really cool because as I'm watching these people on TV when I was a kid, now I'm bumping elbows with these people, and now I'm sharing a locker room. So it was actually a sense of knowing how hard my efforts that had went into wrestling had paid off, because I was the only person that was within this region that was wrestling with all these legends, and I was the only guy on the show that technically wasn't a legend. So I gotta think that was really cool. And then I got to wrestle Shark Boy, which at the time he was big in TNA. He was the TNA champ, and we had a phenomenal match. We killed it. I got praised when I came back because they said my selling skills were almost Shawn Michaels like, which for me, Shawn Michaels was my greatest of all time. He was my best wrestler of all time and everything, and I always tried to pride myself on that. So that was probably my most memorable moment. I'd probably say a runner-up or honorable mention was the last show that I had before I ended up going to Harley Race's wrestling school in St. Louis. I told the promoter, Alistair Fear, I was like, hey, dude, I got to go out with a bang. I'm a heel. I was like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to piss off somebody to the point where they're going to try to kill me. And he's like, all right, I believe it when I see it. He's like, I believe you so much. I'm going to sit ringside because I want to see it. Alistair was a booker at the time. He didn't really do many shows. He still did shows every once in a while, more hardcore, but he wanted to get a front row view because he genuinely knew that I was going to give it all I got, man. I walked out there. And I looked at this guy, and I had a bottle of water, and he was like, you ain't the champ no more, and blah, 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 this, and blah, 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 that. And so I was like, you know what? I was like, sit down before I make change. And he's like, you ain't going to do nothing because you ain't the champ anymore. And I was like, my hands don't discriminate. They whoop young and old ass. And so I flung my water at him. And the bottle was probably only about that much filled, but it flung on him, and he lost his shit. And he pushed that rail up to me in wrestling terms. If you come within an arm reach of me, I am entitled to defend myself. And I stroke the shit out of him in his jaw, and he flew back in that chair. And as soon as that happened, I was ready to whoop his ass. Security got involved. They were kicking him out. I seized the opportunity. I'm looking at Alistair Fear, which is the booker at the time, and I was like, give me a microphone, because at this point, the fans are livid. Out of nowhere, I gave him the microphone. They're escorting him out. I said, don't let him leave, because I really want to whoop his ass. I said, the hell with this match. I want your ass. I said, I'll even come over. I said, I'll take a battery. I'm taking a battery charge. I'll do this. I'll do that. I mean, I was really into the character. So then, finally, when they were leaving, I started singing, na, 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 and everybody was just booing. All of a sudden, this guy chucks a chair in the fucking ring, by the ring, which misses me and hits my manager to the side of the face. And, like, I just remember seeing something black fly past my face. It hits him. His son's recording the match. His son clears the rail and starts wailing on this guy. And then before you know it, it was like an all-out brawl. And then, like, we completely disregarded. The poor guy that was in the ring was just standing there the whole time as the good guy. Just standing there watching all this debacle go. So then, like, I go up there. He's, like, trying to fight my manager's son. So I punch the guy in the face. And then before you know it, security gets this guy out. And they're like, we're going to fucking come back and kill you guys. And I'm like, cool, after I get this win in the ring, I'll be ready to meet my maker, bitch. So then all of a sudden I go back in the ring. the good guy grabs the microphone. He's like, after you done playing with your bitch, he's like, come in the ring and come get this work. So I grab the microphone and I'm over here like, shut up, bitch. It's your turn now. Come to get this work. And then I beat him in 3 seconds. And that's how the show went, man. That was probably my most crazy moment as a bad guy. And it was to the point where when I grabbed my luggage, I had to call the city. They called the EPD, and I had 2 police officers that had to escort me from the locker room to my car. Because this family was out there, and apparently they had knives and all that stuff, dude. It was crazy. So, yes, Charles, that was probably my honorable mention, man. I know that was a lot, but I really wanted to go into detail and tell you exactly how that happened. And then the next day I started wrestling at Harley Race's wrestling school. So that was in St. Louis, and pretty much from there is when I ended up going into the WWE spotlight and carried my career from there. So, yeah. Shout out to you again, Jordan. He had to put in the YMM. Young Money Micus. He's always young, and from the sports entertainment view, he's always money in every category. God dang it, dude. I'm about to use that. Holy. I love it. Jordan, every time, bro, I need to use you as my hype man, dude. Just when I wake up in the morning, I need to call you so you can be like, Young MM, we out here getting money, blah, blah. Listen, bro, you wake me up, bro, I don't even need caffeine. That type of motivation right there, brother, I love it. Corey said one last thing. What do you say? One last thing before I go to bed. Thank you guys for continuing to push the agenda.
Carrying the word.
Yep.
We love that, Corey.
Bro.
You know, obviously we both agree with that. We're gonna have to go see Corey soon.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We're gonna continue with
In
Corey.
fact, I'm planning on hosting an event here. You know, I've talked to you and
Yeah.
Corey both about this, but we're gonna have both of you on to come speak, and I think it's gonna be a really good event.
I'm down.
Yep.
I told you
Me
before.
Yeah.
I'm down. Sign me up. And that'll be a first for me, which is really cool because I always like doing things new, man. I love learning from people. I love being in different environments, meeting new people, seeing different views and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So like, I'm super excited. I can't wait, man. I think it's gonna be absolutely amazing, and we will make sure we promote the hell out of it and try to get some buzz and try to do what we can to help really bring that up to live and hopefully exceed your guys' expectations. Yeah. He also said, Charles said, I wasn't there for that. No, you weren't, man. I wish you were, though, bro. It was crazy. He said, Jesus, we always getting knocked out. Listen, Charles, man, it was a crazy night, dude. It was worth it. I came back after I got paid, and literally the promoter was like, I'm going to miss the hell out of you. He's like, I haven't seen a heel come through here and acted like this in a very long time, and I thank you for it. I will always remember this for the day. Until the day I die. So I thought that was really cool. But enough about wrestling. Is there anything else you got, man? Anything else you want to share with these people? You want to hype up any other events? I know we have mentioned a couple events, so I would love for you to go back and talk about all these events again, just to tell them like when they are, what to expect from them, your social media, like basically just give them like a real quick cliff notes on that.
Yeah, so basically Wednesday I'm going to be at Vincent's University up there, and we're going to be doing an open mic debate. I'm planning on going whether the university wants me there or not.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to go have a discussion because it's important right now.
Yeah.
And then also I'm in the planning process of getting together a conservative youth conference here in Southern Indiana. I think it's wildly important again that these youth hear from leaders in the community. We're going to be doing a lot of speech and debate around high school and college campuses over the next year.
I think that's great.
Mainly what you can do is you can go follow me on X. I'm at Robert_Kruse 15. It's Robert and then _KRUSE 15. And then I'm also on Facebook at Robert Kruse and on Instagram at Real Robert Kruse. That's where you're really going to see me posting these events. So
I love it. I love it. Yes. I love it. Yes. Guys, we're about to wrap up here at the Immaculate Podcast. I appreciate every single one of you from the comment section to just coming in to see what the hell we're talking about, to staying in here to stay live while we're talking about everything, to sharing the content, to making sure that you guys go on our Facebook page at The Immaculate Podcast to give us a like and a share, because the more likes that you give my videos is the more that the algorithm pushes the platform. Guys, we have just went on a national circuit to where now we can actually get nationally recognized, which is amazing. Don DeMarco, we're doing it in a year. That means we can get sponsors for national companies, which, A&W, I'm looking for a sponsor. If you look at all my podcast platform videos, I always drink A&W. Not gonna lie though, this ice cream sundae one, man, I like every one you've ever done. This is one that I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, I might not go with this one again. But if you like chocolate and a root beer, this is the perfect drink. I'm just not a chocolate person, but either way, I still love root beer. So root beer, sponsor your boy, so your boy can bring him more root beer, because this fridge back here is full of root beer. No joke, it really is full of root beer. But like I said, guys, Please give me a like. Please give me a share. Please make sure you guys go to the Immaculate Podcast page on YouTube and on Facebook. Our episodes will be loaded up there. They will be loaded up on YouTube. Make sure you guys go on Spotify. Make sure you guys go on Apple Music. Hell, even talk to your Alexa and say, hey, play the Immaculate Podcast. We have all of our episodes there. I have more episodes uploading, guys. I have literally been pushing content out left and right. I know all you guys are probably like, where the hell has he been at? I have the Immaculate 123 podcast also going. I got 3 episodes of that. I have a couple of hidden episodes that I haven't even aired yet of the Immaculate podcast. I try to do it live, guys, and this is a one-man show. And again, without the support of you guys, I don't have any reason to do this, and a man like this doesn't have a reason to show up. So we appreciate every single one of you, and I thank God for every single one of you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who listened, and thanks for having me on, Micus.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming in, guys. Make sure you go in again to give us a like and a share, and make sure you come back on the next podcast episode of the Immaculate Podcast. That is TheImmaculatPodcast. Oh my goodness.
Can somebody give me a high?
We will see you on the next podcast episode, guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Make sure you give God credit every day you wake up. It is a blessing. It is not owed to you. Make sure you give the man upstairs praise. And again, I shout out to the man upstairs, Don DeMarco, one more time. Y'all stay blessed. Be safe out there. I'll catch you on the next podcast episode.
Thank you, Micus.
Thank you, brother.